You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service. Your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons. That's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/tryus.
Precisa ferir a pressão, medir a glicemia ou tomar uma vacina? Na Raia tem exames, testes e calendário vacinal completo. E o que é melhor, tem sempre uma Raia aí perto de você. É fácil, prático e rápido. Dá para ir entre uma música e outra. Procure nossos farmacêuticos. Quanto mais você conhece o que a gente faz na Raia, mais você se cuida.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. All right, so here's the situation. We're going to be heading out for, 2 days, one night. But I want to try to make sure that we have podcasts for 2 days. And in order to do that, we're going to do 2 relatively short Packernet After Darks. I appreciate all the callers. You guys make it a lot easier on me to be able to get through some stuff. If I'm in a pinch, I can just run over here and grab some quick content. So thank you to all the callers very, very much. I don't think there's anything really earth-shattering going on right now, so we're not really missing anything. Let me just look at one thing real quick here. I always bookmark stuff, and then I forget that I bookmarked it, so I just want to make sure there wasn't anything massive that I wanted to. Packers are 50-15 against the Chicago Bears since 92. I don't think there's anything massive that is going on. So that's what we're going to do today. The only other thing I want to do before we get into it real quick. Obviously, we are in a political, it's an election season. Election seasons always get ramped up. There was just a major incident involving an assassination attempt by a crazy person, and that's going to further ramp things up, right? I only bring that up, not because I'm going to go on a diatribe, but I only bring that up to say that stuff will get said online. Now, there are people on both sides of things that I very much agree with and very much disagree with. There are people that have said things that I find to be reprehensible that I continue to speak to and interact with, and it's one of those things. I have reserved, in my mind, I have decided, although in some cases this is not true, but whenever possible, choose to believe that people are just stupid and not evil. Because evil is when I think we get into dangerous territory. And so, people that are not very smart, you just feel bad for them. You don't have to get super mad at them. But because this is a heated thing, and I've had people reach out, and I'm sure for every person that reaches out, there's 100 that feel the same way, but don't say anything. Let me just lay out the ground rules for the way that I see things with myself and with Packernet more broadly. Number one, for myself, I try as hard as I can to make it a rule to not isolate people. I obviously have a particular viewpoint on things, and I kind of think that's a big difference. The more I reflect on things between, for example, the left and the right, it's not even so much values. Values are kind of a byproduct of our vision that we see the world through, or the optics that we see things through, and you can probably tell by the way that I say things and the way that I the topics we've discussed, sort of the orientation that I have toward the world. It's just the way that I see things. Now, you can extrapolate that out and try to fill in the blanks as much as you want. You're probably going to be wrong about some stuff, but it's up to you to do that. But, as far as isolating people and making people upset, if I'm going to do that, I want it to be about football-related topics. If people are really mad at me because of my take on Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love or Brian Gutekunst or whatever, that's the time in which I'm going to stand, 10 toes down, 2 fingers up, saying, you know what, this is what we're doing. I'm not going to do that about presidential politics or local or worldwide for that matter. It's pretty heated across the world right now. Very interesting, by the way. That's the other thing. It's just like I can't even be mad because I'm learning a lot so much. Like, wait, what? How does that work? I don't understand. European politics in particular. Like, wait, you have to do what now? Didn't know there was an EU government. And I still don't even know how that works. But anyways, beyond that, obviously, Packernet is not just me anymore like it used to be. There are other people that are here. Now, I don't know what's going on out there in the world. I really don't. I have not seen anything that anybody is really saying, to be honest. But I had somebody bring an argument to my attention. They got into an argument with somebody, and then they got blocked, and they were upset. Everybody that is either directly or indirectly affiliated with Packernet is a grown adult human being. In no world am I going to go to them and say in their own private capacities, on their own private, things, are they not allowed to say certain things? I'm not going to do it because I don't have any right to do that. The way that I've always felt about Packernet is very different than I think a lot of people would run other businesses or whatever, and maybe that's to my detriment. When other people, and really, Clayton's the only one that actually has like a show these days. I don't know if Jake's still doing much draft stuff right now, but I'm sure that'll ramp up pretty soon. But when somebody does a show, assuming that they more or less stay in the parameters of, remember, this is a football show, it is your show. It's not my show. It's your show. And that's always been the thing. And that's why they can pick up and take their show and go somewhere else at any time. Their show is just on my streaming thing. And it's mutually beneficial. So they have a show. They get more viewers or listeners or downloads because I have a big audience. And the benefit to me is that there's more shows, which means more total downloads, which means more ad revenue, which I take a portion of. So it's a symbiotic relationship. But make no mistake, Jake's show is Jake's show, and Clayton's show is Clayton's show. Now, if something absolutely horrific was said, I would probably step in and be like, look, you can't be doing that stuff. But as far as their own private social medias, they can say whatever they want. They could say, I want to murder puppies just all day long. It's what I want to do. Like, that's freaking weird and creepy. But I'm not going to say, hey, some people might see that and then think Packernet and then not want to listen to my show because you're crazy. And so you have to censor yourself. I don't have that right. And I'm hoping it, obviously, it's, well, what if somebody, like, would you want to work with somebody? Like, listen, I hope it doesn't come to a point where somebody goes so off the rails that I have to decide whether or not I want to be associated with this person. I get that. But I don't like this mamby-pamby nonsense of, like, having to baby everybody and try to foster relationships. And, well, he was mean and he said this and then. Bro, figure it out, dude. Do not come tattling to me if somebody that is associated with Packernet in some kind of way says something you don't like, because I don't want to hear it. It's got nothing to do with me. Now, are there some people who are going to force the issue and say that somebody said something I don't like and they are associated with Packernet, and so now I'm not going to listen to Ryan anymore? Maybe. I'm sure that has happened. I would much rather it be something that I said that made them upset. And if that happens, I would prefer you come to me, which has happened. I've had some people get upset with me because of certain takes that I've had. Usually we can work it out and then, whatever. I don't know why somebody would stop listening because of something that somebody else said on a non-podcast related thing, their own private social media. But, again, it's election season and stuff's going to get heated and people are going to make decisions. And that's as much as I can't control what people say privately, I can't control how people respond to it. And if they want to not listen to me, that's fine as well. But as far as I can tell, what it seems to be is most content creators are more or less vocal about their own political stances. And depending on what side of it you are, people want to take sides. And so it's okay for these content creators to have their opinions. It's not okay for these content creators to have their opinion. And so I don't see it as genuine on top of not caring in general. So I just really, really don't care. So I guess if you have an issue with me specifically, please tell me. If you have an issue with somebody else, go tell them. But if I tried to shut down everything that everybody said that anybody that listens to this show found in any way objectionable, I would be constantly telling people that they're not allowed to say basically anything that they want to say, which, again, I have no right. And knowing the people that are around here, if I even dared to try to tell them what they're allowed to say, that would not go very well for me. I wouldn't do it to begin with, but I know that would not go very well. All right, so now that we've laid the ground rules here, why don't we get started with Dakota, that nerd in Tennessee.
All right, this is Dakota again. I want to briefly elaborate on the scouting department. All of them, ESPN, everybody that shows anything should have a scouting department for announcers. Or anybody that shows anything regarding the NFL should have a scouting department for announcers. And I say that because I agree. We need to stop going for the big name players that are retiring, because that's not what they specialize in. Look, there's the Professional Bull Riders Incorporated, right? PBR Inc. is the NFL of rodeos, of bull riding, right?
Okay.
You don't take the famous bull riders from PBR and yes, I know it's pretty funny, it's called PBR, but anyway, You don't take the professional bull riders from PBR and immediately think, oh, they'd make great auctioneers at these cattle auctions. No, they wouldn't. All right? I mean, that has nothing, their ability to ride a bull for a total of 8 seconds has nothing to do with their ability to call out prices at a ridiculous speed and have people kind of barely understand them and not know if they won until they take the money out of your bank account, okay? So, no. We need to stop doing that. There needs to be a scouting department. I know there's little leagues out there. I say little leagues. What's the AAA and the baby baseball? Not baby, but, like the young. They suck. So they're not good enough to be in the professional baseball league. I don't know. They got that. I know they have announcers out in like the big high schools, right? When they play their big bowl games. I know they have announcers out there for that. Scout them, man. They've been in the business. There needs to be a scouting department. That just shows how lazy NBC, ESPN, and all that is. They really don't care about quality. They just care about how many people tune in for the day and how many people they can count. But anyway, don't want to go on. All right, that took longer than I wanted to. Anyway, y'all, peace.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it takes, if it's a scouting department or what, but I don't know. I don't want to just keep going round and round about. I feel like we're really bad at just figuring out what is best for things. It's like it's everything now. Maybe we're all just really stupid and incompetent these days. I know the school system is not great. I don't know. I don't know what it takes to get people to figure things out. There seems to be a lack of understanding that there are specialties, and then there are people that specialize in specialties. You know what I mean? This happens all the time with coaching. So there's this idea that's popped up recently that there is no such thing as the best candidate. There's just a massive pile of good candidates. That's stupid. And that's how you end up with that's how you end up with bad head coaches. That's how we end up with bad announcers and bad CEOs and bad movies and bad TV shows and bad everything. Because we refuse to acknowledge that there are the best candidates. There are could you imagine if we opened up like quarterbacks, rather than acknowledging there's like, this microphone is killing me. I got to get a new cable for this. Rather than just acknowledging there are like 5 or 6 elite quarterbacks in the world, if we just said there's not really like the best quarterbacks. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of good enough quarterbacks. And we open it up to like high school quarterback level talent. And then we just decide we pick the people that we like the most, based on other non-quarterback characteristics. Do you know how much the NFL would suck and how quickly it would go downhill? That's what we're doing with everything. And it's just, we have these incompetent people running these networks that think in such shallow terms. I mean, they're all going bankrupt, which is not surprising. They're all losing money hand over fist. A day doesn't go by where we don't hear about, oh, there's more layoffs, more layoffs, more layoffs. Everything's horrible, more layoffs. And it's like, and then how do we fix it? Well, we fire everybody, and then with all that extra money that we have, because we're not paying these people anymore, we're just going to throw an obscene amount of money at somebody who's really bad at their job. We're going to fire like actual reporters and people that do this for a living, and it's all they do. It's all they've done. It's all they know how to do. It's all they've studied their entire lives. We're going to fire all them and then package all that money and throw it at Tom Brady, who has no freaking clue how to do this. It's a parlor trick. I don't know. I mean, and again, maybe it'll be cool to have Tom kind of, be able to break down the plays a little bit more in a statistical way, but I don't know. Even that has a coldness to it. Again, it can be kind of a cool parlor trick to be like, oh, I think they're going to run this. Like, okay, great. Like, I don't know. But is that really your job? Is that the job of the announcers to try to guess what play is coming? Isn't it to add to this art form? Isn't it to add to the experience of watching a football game? I feel like that should be the main goal, and the tone in which you say things, and the excitement, and the call, and just getting things right, knowing people's names and how to pronounce them, for example, would be a good start. Yes, dear. We haven't talked about AI in a while, but it is interesting to me that as technology rapidly gets better and better, it seems like humans are getting worse and worse at doing the job, which is just going to more rapidly increase the rate at which replacement is going to happen. I mean, am I alone in noticing that fast food has even gone downhill? I don't remember being a kid and going to a fast food place and just getting the most apathetic, like, don't care, don't even come to the register. We went to, there was a KFC in Madison we went to on the east side of Madison. Dude, I stood at the register and I looked at this girl who sat on her phone, and I just stared at her. And my wife's like, should you say something? I'm like, no, I'm just going to sit here and stare at her. I'm not kidding. It was over a minute. I'm the only one there. There's nobody else in the restaurant. She completely ignored me, and she sat on her phone. The food sucked. We went to go get a drink. None of the drinks worked, so we had to go back and tell her, hey, this doesn't work. She didn't care. That never used to happen. I mean, even a really good restaurant or a good fast food place, most of the time, you walk up to the register, they just stare at you. What happened to, hi, welcome to McDonald's, can I take your order? At best, you get, what can I get for you? The guy I work with who actually coaches people when he goes to fast food places on how to do things. Walk up and be like, hello. I'll say hello. Say, no, that's what you say to me. When I walk up, you greet me and say hello. Can I take your order? He has to coach them on how to do their job because he's annoyed that these people will not do their jobs. So why am I excited about AI? Because what else do I have to be excited about? Why do I want AI to create movies? Who else is going to do it? All right, I got to take a break. We'll be right back and hear from Craig. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service, your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons, that's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/tryus.
O que acende a sua vontade de começar algo? Tem uma faísca em você que te chama para empreender, investir, dar novos rumos para sua vida. E para todos os seus começos, você pode contar com Santander Select. Um banco mais pessoal, mais próximo, mais humano. Um time de especialistas com olhar atento para cada momento da sua vida. Porque você sabe, só quem já deu muitos passos está pronto para continuar começando. Santander Select. Começa em você, começa agora.
Desculpa a interrupção do meio tempo, mas só passei rapidinho pra te lembrar que Conmebol Copa América 2024 e a UEFA Euro 2024 já estão disponíveis no EA Sports FC Mobile. Não perca tempo, vem participar desses eventos e vivenciar o melhor do futebol. Viva a emoção do verdadeiro futebol e escreva um novo capítulo nas histórias dos seus jogadores favoritos e todos os times participantes. EA Sports FC Mobile, o jogo de todo mundo no seu bolso. Participe e jogue agora. Inclui compras opcionais dentro do jogo, inclui itens aleatórios.
Hey, Ryan, it's Craig from Indiana. Just listening to your podcast on your reaction to Mike Florio's comment about the NFL Sunday ticket lawsuit, which I think you're dead on. Man, I don't know where you stop that. If it's, hey, I really wanted this, but I couldn't afford to do it, and that's not fair. Boy, I'd love to go to the Super Bowl, but can't afford the tickets, so maybe I'll do a lawsuit. Or no, I actually do get the NFL ticket, and not every year, but several years. I usually look at the schedule for what games will be nationally televised, and I also have season tickets, the green package, so how many games am I going to get to, and kind of just back of napkin math of is that if there are going to be a lot that are outside of my market, is it worth it, or should I get in the car and drive about a half hour to a really kind of cool Packer bar and, drop $50 or $100 depending on who I'm bringing. So often it made just sense to get the ticket because I was going to get to watch a lot of the teams. Not to mention other games that I might want to watch or other family members who might be interested in them. But it's on the side of the crazy state of California. Hope an independent one with that, but some other judge at the federal level or something is going to go, hey, this is crazy. This is a much bigger issue if we say this is the NFL owes people money. And I guess it sounded like in what you were saying or Florio was saying is I would benefit from it because I had the ticket, not the people who couldn't get it. So, which is even more insane to me because I agreed to that price. I said, yeah, okay, yeah, it stings a little bit, but I went into this agreement. I'll pay this and I'll get this. So for me to get some kind of refund from that seems a little silly. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, the whole thing is nonsense. I understand this is very unlikely to get through. I despise the core notion of it. The entitlement of it, the fact, as was brought up, I think, yesterday, that you have people that have benefited from this, made a decision to do this, profited from this, and now want to be refunded to the detriment of the NFL because I'm more important. Even though I decided to pay for it, I decided it was a good price, I put it up in my bar and made a ton of money while getting people in here. Now, after however many years of this, I've decided I don't like it anymore and I'm going to sue you because it's too much money. F you, bro. And just the entitlement of I'm going to tear down the entire NFL. I'm going to ruin the NFL to get what I want because I don't like it. It's just garbage behavior.
Ryan.
Hey.
1265 back.
What's up?
So I'm listening to the After Dark.
Uh-huh.
Where you played the whole name thing that I was doing, and you totally missed it. It has nothing to do with the last name. In fact, I did those completely different. Driver, I did with the two-syllable driver.
Oh,
but Bo Melton, I did his last name super fast. They're both different, but are really great announcing names. And it really has to do more with the first name. Because, you can drag it out like Donald, and then Bo. it's hard to do. Like John Kuhn was great because Kuhn, you can drag it out. That's kind of what it's about, whether it's the first or the last name. I mean, Donald was great because you could do it with both. Bo has one syllable in the first name. Donald had two. But just the way their names are and the way the vowels are set in their names allows you to expand the vowel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like, if we can say Donald is okay, then why wouldn't Christian be okay? Christian Watson, right? I don't know if we're I'm not understanding how this works.
I'm saying, so again, Bo Melton is Bo Melton. Like Melton's super fast.
I don't think you would do it that way. You always got to carry out the Bo Melton. Like it's like the basketball thing, you know. Dun 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 dun. You know, that's how you say it. I would never. I've never heard anyone say Bo Melton. It's not even a. I don't know. Maybe they do things differently in your neck of the woods. I don't know.
So anyway, you missed the whole thing. I understand that there's a lot of. You could do every name with an announcer voice, literally. I'm looking for the one.
No, try it with Ryan Schlip now. Ryan Schlip. It sucks. It's garbage. Is that a cat or is that a person pretending to be a cat? No, it's a real cat. What do you want? What? Whiny baby. Sorry.
That are fun. The ones that you can make a little more unique than just every name the same way. Okay, that was all I had.
I just feel like there's a way to do it. It's da da da, right? So it's ideally, I think the perfect name is one syllable, two syllables, right? Like Bo Melton, like that's boom, that's it, that's the one. But you can do it with like Donald or Christian, as long as it like flows. If it's a quick Tuesday, like a da-da, I think you can make it work. One syllable last names, like Schlip, it doesn't work as well. But yeah, I mean the whole thing, if I remember, I'm trying to remember exactly, was we used to have cool announcer names like Donald Driver, and we don't really have anybody today. And again, like, do we have a one syllable, two syllable? We got Romeo Dobbs. That one would be tough. You could do it. You know, again, you got to be like quick with the Romeo Dobbs. Like you can make it work. It's not on the money though. Christian Watson, same thing. You fly through the first two syllables in the first name, and then Watson, two syllables, nails it. Jaden Reed's not bad. Jaden's two syllables, but it's easy to, they roll together anyways. That first one actually, Jaden, you know, because you got to hit the D, and then it doesn't sound good. You wouldn't say like Jaden. I don't know. Reed is cool, but Jaden would be tough. Malik Heath is not good. Duntavian Wicks is rough. I mean, you drag out that Duntavian Wicks. You can make it work, but it's not ideal. Granted, Bose doesn't work because it's two syllables, but you've got the emphasis on the wrong syllable. You know what I mean? Emphasis. It's Dubose. It's kind of like the English thing where it's the vowels or whatever you call it goes up instead of down. You know, Melton, Watson, Dubose doesn't work. It's got to go down. It can't go up. Samore doesn't work. I mean, I think Bo Melton is on the money, especially when you can elongate that Bo, the O. And then you got the solid two syllables with the inflection going down instead of up at the end. It's a perfect one. Watson works. Bo Melton is perfect, in my opinion. But I don't know how your thing works, so I don't think I understand it.
Hi, Ryan. Ken Wayne here.
Hey.
I have a couple questions that I thought could fill in some time before training camp starts. First one, do you think that there's been a lot of talk about the players on the defense right now and how they could fit very well with the new defensive scheme? Do you think that possibly we have been drafting people that fit that hand in the dirt, kind of attacking players while Joe Barry was still running the defense? It feels like we may have been drafting him for a couple years prior to getting this new defense. Bonus question. Based on whatever metric you prefer, do you think the offense or the defense will take a bigger percentage step this season? Those are my questions. Thank you.
As for the first part, yes, but not in the way that it seems you're implying. In other words, I think they've been drafting hand-in-the-dirt guys, but primarily because that's what the Packers do. They draft versatile pieces. So they wouldn't draft a guy, and I shouldn't say they wouldn't. They would be less likely to draft somebody that is a pure stand-up outside linebacker that doesn't have the ability to put his hand in the dirt. First of all, because it doesn't really work with the scheme where it's kind of required. But also just because they like versatility, period. They like guys that can do everything, that can be versatile chess pieces, that could even kick inside if needed. So it really is just a benefit to the overall philosophy. I mean, I think it's needed in today's NFL to have players that can be multiple, and the Packers, I don't want to say lead the way, but they're certainly on the end of the spectrum that prioritizes that. Maybe, if anything, too much, but they certainly prioritize being flexible, being able to do multiple things. And yeah, as an added benefit, I mean, I think I mentioned it when we made the switch, that the Packers are a team that is very able to switch schemes because they prioritize flexibility. So there shouldn't be a ton of people that are just incapable. So I don't really see it as, we know we're going to kick this guy out the door and we know we're going to a 4-3, so why don't we get started on the process, as much as it was, we want guys that can be whatever. And that just made it easier to make the transition. Do you think the offense or defense will take a bigger percentage step? I mean, I would have to say defense. Regardless of the metric, I think the offense, I mean, we can get into the weeds of, I guess I don't know definitively if we look at the entire season where the offense and defense rank. The offense obviously struggled quite a bit in the early portion, but I just think the easy answer is defense, because you know, we come into this with expectations in and around what we saw toward the end of the season. If we saw something that was just slightly better than the first half but worse than the second half, I think most of us would be disappointed. So I think the bar is set relatively high for the offense, especially with the injured players coming back and being healthy and whatnot. The defensive expectation, I mean, it's somewhat elevated because we have high hopes for Hafley and all these things, but I think we're quite a bit snake-bitten. And I also just think that there's a lot more runway there. I think there's a lot more room for growth for the defense than there is for the offense. I mean, you know, again, Jordan Love was playing at a number one quarterback in the NFL clip. I mean, for a period of time, depending on what area we're looking at, he was the top quarterback in football, you know, and we had good wide receivers and tight ends, and I don't know that the ceiling is that much higher for a lot of the guys. I mean, I could be wrong, but you just kind of feel like everybody's close to their ceilings with a couple exceptions mixed in. Defense, not even close. In fact, you know, a lot of the guys were below expectation. You know, Jair was fine last year, but he's not as good as we need him to be for what he's getting paid. Kenny's been below expectations for a while. Rashawn fell below expectations after he got paid. You know, Wyatt certainly doesn't feel like he's at his ceiling. At least I hope he's not. Quay doesn't feel like he's ever really hit his ceiling. We're hopeful for that. We're hoping Edgerrin is a big upgrade. Xavier should be a massive upgrade. Whoever's next to Xavier should be a big upgrade. Stokes coming back healthy. We're hopeful that, you know, so I mean, like almost every single position you look at, you feel like there's room for growth, as opposed to offensively, where you look at the offensive line and go, it might be worse, and Jordan can't get much better. And, you know, Romeo's probably maxed out, and Reed can get better, but probably not a ton better. He was fantastic last year. Same with Wicks, I think. People may disagree. I think he's good. I don't know how much higher he can get, hopefully higher. Really, I think the growth comes from Watson and Musgrave coming back healthy, and Matt LaFleur having a better idea how to use them. But that's about it in my mind. So, yeah, I would say defense. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break right away. I don't think I'm going to get to tomorrow's podcast. I didn't realize it was this late, and I've had a billion interruptions. I really got to get going. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Ryan!
Hey!
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Mike from San Antonio.
How you doing?
It's been 2 years since I called in. Sorry about that. I hate the sound of my own voice.
No, you're good.
I haven't called in since I named cheese balls as the worst snack food ever, just ahead of Slim Jims and Fig.
Dude.
Anyway.
First of all, I don't know about that take, man. Worst snack food are cheese balls, Slim Jims, and Fig Newtons? I mean, they're not the best, but none of those are bad. I kind of like, I mean, I used to really love Fig Newtons back in the day. I don't know as an adult right now if I do. I had them for the first time recently, and it was kind of like, whatever. Same with Slim Jims. Dude, back in the day, a meat stick was the best thing in the world. It was the greatest thing ever. Now I eat it, and it's like, this is just greasy, gristly garbage. I don't really care for it. But anyways, it's an okay take. I just feel there's got to be worse snacks than that, right? I can't think of any, but there's got to be worse. Anyways, please continue. I'll have to ponder that.
Have not heard Omar call in for a while.
I know, right?
With some movie recommendations, so I thought I'd give you my own.
Yes.
Last week, took my kid out to the free movie here, The Bad Guys.
Yes.
Very good, 8 out of 10. It's like a kid's animated version of Ocean's 11.
No, I have seen that, and my kids have watched it a few times. I mean, as far as animated movies go, you say 8 out of 10. I think that's fair. Maybe I'd put it maybe a little lower, 7 out of 10 or something. But no, it's decent. Kids love it. And as far as watchability, if you have kids, how much are you going to be tortured to have to sit there and watch it? Not very much. It's decent. This
morning was migration. Yeah, it's whatever. But then, since Texas decided to cut off all of internet to Spectrum, I went out and saw Horizon tonight by myself. The wife hates. Excuse me for the F-bomb.
I got it.
Got to bleep that. Very, very, very good. However, I got to give it an incomplete grade because it's only the first chapter, whatever, of the movie. Okay. Supposedly there's going to be 4. Very, very good movie. If you like Dances with Wolves, if you like Last of the Mohicans, if you like, it's a very, very slow burn movie.
Okay.
But, very good. Check it out. Tons of cameos. Rami Malek, Luke Wilson, Michael Rooker, the guy that played, you're a horror fan, so the guy that played the axe murderer in the American Horror Story season when they were in New Orleans. Just a ton of people through the entire thing. Oh, hey, that guy. Oh, hey, that guy.
Sure, yeah.
Very, very good. Highly recommend.
I like that.
Cannot wait for the second chapter. Have a good night.
So I haven't heard of it. So I looked it up. Horizon: An American Saga is what it says. Watch now, $25. You can watch it on YouTube. That's pretty pricey. The reason I was giggling before is as soon as I Googled it, I went down to some of the news articles, and one of them says Horizon 2, where was the one? Oh, Kevin Costner's Horizon 2 pulled from August release after first movie bombs at the box office. So, first of all, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad movie. It just means nobody went to go see it, either because they just didn't think it was going to be good, or because they never heard of it, which would be my case. I literally did not know there was a Kevin Costner Western movie coming out. Not that I'm super plugged into movies, but I had no idea. So, what are the reviews? Google has an audience rating summary. It has a 3.2 out of 5. However, most are 5-star. That's the most. Second most is 1 star though. So either love it or hate it. It seems like. Well, good. I appreciate the recommendations. I'll probably have to wait until that one comes out. I don't think I'm going to pay watch it or go to the movies for it, but I'll keep an eye out for that one.
See, Ryan, that's why I don't go in, man. Anxiety is a mother. But Horizon, very good movie. But to bring him back to the Packers, Gold Package fan here, and I cannot deal with the hate that we get. I hate to bring this back up, but you know what? Maybe we would stand up and cheer if, when I'm sitting in the very front frickin' row, I am not told to sit down by Lambeau Field security, okay? All of you Gold Package, Green Package, whatever fans, who cares? Stand up, cheer, and if you get a security guy telling you to come shut up and sit down, tell him to go stick it, all right?
That is crazy. I feel like I've heard that one other time that security actually said, which flies in the face of everything we've been talking about. Because the whole thing is, how do the Packers get fans to do the right thing? Well, if the Packers security is telling people to do the wrong thing, it sounds like we're not all on the same page. Now, maybe Packers security are just local people who probably go to games and end up being the types of people who get annoyed when people stand up, and so they just kind of enforce their own code. Or on top of that, they are being told by fans who are sitting like, hey, can you tell that person to sit down? I can't see. Whatever the case may be, I don't know. But that's something that needs to get up to the top. So anybody at Lambeau listening, please make sure that it gets to your security guards that it is not within your, or let's put it this way, you are not to tell people to sit down. I keep coming back to the, like, first of all, other sporting events, people don't sit. Like, it's not a thing. You don't sit at a sporting event. Concerts, you don't sit, depending on the concert, right? If it's a slower kind of band, but you imagine going to like a Metallica concert or something, or what, and you're sitting in your chair trying to get security to tell everybody in front of you to sit down. Like, bro, you will stand or you will see nothing. Like, that's what's going to happen right now. All right, Uno mas.
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California.
What's up?
I was just thinking about the general manager and the difference between, Ted Thompson and Goody. And do we think Goody is better than Ted? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I think it's pretty clear that Goody's better because the weaknesses of Ted, Goody doesn't have those weaknesses, and the strengths that I thought Ted had, like, Goody does it, but he's been even more, I would say, more successful in the late rounds carrying it out. My theory always was, if I were to be a GM, let's just put a fan as a GM, right? Every other year, I'd be drafting at least one receiver in the second, third round, right? Just so, you're constantly, you have a guy leave for free agency, potentially, right? Because you can't guarantee. And then you have somebody replace him. When we go back to 2006, you get Jennings drafted, then James Jones, then you got Jordy, right? It's just all back to back, and they're all right in that range. They kind of got compounded right there. Then a year off, and then you get Randall Cobb. A couple years off, then you get Devontae, right? But you're having all these skill guys just all stacked up in the high value rounds, so it's not like you're using a bunch of capital all in one spot. The initial investment, yeah, but they maintained it by doing that. The thing I really like about Goody and what he did that makes him better than Ted, because Ted had to eye for receivers, but Goody, he's able to find these late value receivers. Fourth round, I consider that a late pick, right? He got a really good contributor in Romeo Dobbs, right? Even Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? He took his shots in the late round guys. Like, MVS was a contributor, right? That's a good receiver. And then you got Dontavian Wicks. Like, he does that sprinkle in thing where he does all these late round guys, and he just doesn't do it with receiver. He does it with everything. And That's what I like about this guy. That's why I think Goody is a better thing. He takes his shots strategically when he needs to build depth, and it works. That's all I got. Go Pack Go.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, props to Ted. Ted was a phenomenal GM for the Packers. I think if we were to kind of go side by side as of today, on a per year basis or whatever, Goot probably comes out ahead. The unfair part about that is there's generally a trajectory, and most people tail off at the end. It's why they end up not being a GM, right? It works for a while, you got your thing, and then it kind of falls off. A lot of GMs, they go through a rough patch, same with coaches. And after several years, obviously Ted's tenure ended really badly. The last, I don't know how many years, I mean, it was rough. But Gutekunst came in, did a great job with free agency and everything else. I mean, to your point, yeah, there are aspects that I think he does better than Ted, but there are also things that probably Ted did better than Goot did. It would be interesting to look at. I don't know if I necessarily want to do it because I don't want to slam Ted, even if I tried to do it in a respectful way. I don't know how if I'd be able to find a respectful enough way to do it. But yeah, that would be my biggest caveat is you'd probably have to wait until the end of their careers to fully do it. I think if you were to do it today, Goot wins. Presuming, maybe give it another year, make sure Jordan is the guy because, it's hard to compete when you've drafted Aaron Rodgers. But if Jordan's the guy, yeah, probably Goot. But yeah, wait until he's done with his career because for all we know, he's going to put together because he's already had at least one really bad year as a GM. If this past year sucks and next year sucks and then the year after that sucks and he gets fired, we'll probably look back and Ted wins. But all right, anyways, I got to get out of here. We were supposed to leave a while ago. I don't know why I thought I could get two done, but you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.